I'm Jerry Artho. We've all been granted so much time, so much energy in this lifetime, and I'm here to help you manage your time wisely and your energy positively on my experiences and the mistakes I've made and what I've learned from my mistakes. Now on this Facebook, there's a 2-page article, and this is the first of hundreds serving others as an international consultant on economic and government choices to help us form a more perfect union. Now in the past, when we all file and record a deed in the county courthouse, it protects our deed from anybody else taking it or protects our ownership of property. And in the past, it's always been a felony to file fraudulent documentation in the county courthouse deed records. And of course, we all remember our Texas government classes of the 3 branches of government. Legislation, where they file bills and argue both sides, which is good, to make our new laws. And the administration side either vetoes the bill or signs the bill into law. Our judicial branch enforces our laws or exercises the judicial branch's constitutional checks and balances rights to create, inflict, and or allow new case law changes. And of course, this is our founding forefathers' constitutional framework for our checks and balances. When you go to filedevidence.com, this proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that my bank actually filed fraudulent government documentation with an illegal legal description on my Apache Point deed. Now this, when any title company does a title search, this shows that my deed is uninsurable, unmarketable, and it slanders the title. What this does is locks me into my bank because no other bank will refinance a slandered title. And you couldn't leverage a loan with another bank because your deed has been felony slandered. Now this will ruin your name, your reputation, your credit, and your future earning power. Since March 2015, I have exhausted my constitutional 14th Amendment rights of equal protection of the law in several courts of law. And my burden of proof on filedevidence.com is, and in spite of these courts of law, and in spite of the filed evidence, and in direct defiance of our current laws, these landmark decisions favored the preferred opposition. Now, constitutionally, we are all created equal. So now anybody can file fraudulent government documentation. Now anybody can price fix against anyone to ruin their credit. And now anyone, for their own self-justification, can now quote these new case law changes that these courts have enforced, and can quote these new case law changes to any judge and jury and in any court of law from this day forward. Now this will release any past like-kind convicted felons from prison, and the legal counsel can make an argument to any judge and jury to release past felons. And this prevents any district attorney from prosecuting any present lifetime felons because the felons legal counsel will argue, well, new case law says if Jerry Arthur, the bank, can do it, then so can the felon. And it justifies any future felons' unsustainable short-term ill-gotten gains. Now, as far as international consulting of economic and government choices, these type case law changes with any nation. Of course, it'll bankrupt any nation's investors, investments, and force business closures. And it'll force investors to relocate their investments from any such nation that allows these criminal acts, and especially from the jurisdictions who created, inflicted, and allowed these new case law changes. Of course, this self-sabotage any nation's present economic growth, any nation's economic recoveries, and any nation import-export balances, and any nation's future sustainable economic prosperity. Now, history reflects, time and time again, the international markets and domestic markets simply don't care which nation's unsustainable economic policies are. The markets simply don't care. And the markets don't care which organized political party you belong to. The markets don't care which organized religion you belong to. And the markets simply don't care which organized crime you belong to. Now, when any nation judicially divides and conquers the nation's tax-paying commoners sustainable long-term investments, and when any nation judicially prefers to judicially award a nation's absolute power pools unsustainable short-term ill-gotten gains, past international and domestic markets reflect that sooner or later absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, coming soon will be the second public service announcement with Exhibit 2, which are the exhibits that were filed in several courts of law. And Exhibit 2 shows where my bank scratched out my account number and wrote in an unknown account number. Now, this gives the banks an opportunity to leverage my excessive amount of assets against my loans and against this unknown bank account number that they scratched out. That will be the next, that will be on the next page.